Hi everybody, welcome back to another epic game haul. So, unlike my usual game hauls, I know I usually save those for the end of the week. However, this is a special one. So if you look at my earlier video, there was a public service announcement for Gamestop promotions going on with trade-ins. And this is part of the fruits of my labor as far as hustling to trade in games at GameStop. So I discovered this from my buddy Dan, who I mentioned in my original video about how GameStop will occasionally have a really great trade-in promotion. So 2 years ago was when I first discovered this. Now this promotion may have been going on for longer, however, it was 2 years ago. I just moved back from Cuba back to the States, and I heard about this crazy promotion where individuals were getting all this extra trading credit and such, which they were using to flip and like buy retro games and such on GameStop. And I remember a year ago, I actually took advantage of this. However, I tried to go even harder than I did last year, and I probably spent maybe $60 on games from like places like pawn shops, OfferUp, stuff like that, because essentially the promotion was for any game that was valued at $2 or more as baseline trade-in credit, you got an additional $5 trade-in credit. Now my guess is that GameStop is doing this to help refill their back stock to get ready for the holiday season. This can serve as a great way for them to be able to get games in to sell to others. However, for retro collectors such as myself, this can be a great opportunity to try to get those games that might cost a little bit more than what one is willing to pay. For instance, if you have 5 $2 games that you spend $10 for, well, that $10 in theory can result in $35 of store credit. So you do that a few times over, the math can look very good. And certainly if you're able to find some good high quality games on the cheap, that can certainly lead to a lot more trading credit. So pros and cons. So I put in a couple of orders. So one of the deals going on right now with GameStop is that any orders for $50 or greater will result in free shipping. Now this is like their standard cheapest mode of shipping. So I did that a few times over. Additionally, I am a Power Up Rewards member, so I get 10% off. But if you happen to frequent Cheap Ass Gamer website, there is a code there. So CAG16. I'll list it down below. So CAG16, all one word, will get you an additional 16% discount on your purchase. Now, the caveat is that you can only do this on 3 pre-owned games total. It says 3 pre-owned games or DVDs, but finding DVDs this day and age from GameStop, good luck with that. So what I ended up doing was making a spreadsheet as far as what were some retro games that I thought in my collection were a bit lacking, for better words. So for instance, looking at my game collection, I've been collecting games, playing games for like 30 years, and looking back, there was a hiatus where essentially it was the mid-late 90s, I was just playing PC games, not doing a whole lot of console gaming, and you look at that period of time, that's where you had like game systems like the PlayStation 1, the N64 certainly was doing really well, and so those two systems, more so than N64, was where I had a pretty weak collection. I had some heavy hitters, but there were a lot of good ones I was missing out on, so I thought, you know what, maybe I'll try to capture those, and a few other systems as well, just because there's certain games where you can only play that game on one system. They haven't gone to a digital format, or you can get it like on Steam, or for like PlayStation Network, so I have a variety of things. My experience. So, one box, another bag, another bag, another bag, another box, another box. As you can imagine, if you order from GameStop, you might get everything that you order in a piecemeal fashion. Now, part of that was my fault. I'll say that straight up is because I was trying to optimize that. So, doing the math, if you're a Power Up Rewards member, that's 10% off. You do the Cheap Ass Gamer 16, that's another 16% off, so 26% off. So to optimize that, if you're just trying to, if you have a load of trading credit and you want to try to get the most bang for your buck, the math would be take $50, right? You want to get the free trading, the free shipping, $50 divided by 0.74, because that's the difference between 100% and the 26% you get. 0.74 gets you to about $67 and change. So I had a spreadsheet of games that I was looking at that GameStop carried for the retro section, and try to figure out, okay, which games do I like on a scale of 1 to 5? 5, I really want to get it. 1, maybe down the road sometime if the price is right. And then I listed the prices out. So I started figuring out, okay, what gets me to at least $67 and change so I can get the free trade credit. Hence, all the boxes and bags and bubble wrap and such. So the experience, I was hoping for a little bit better. So I worked at EB Games beforehand. I worked at GameStop. And I'm pretty used to seeing games brought into the store, traded in, where it's missing the manual, the box, the cases, you name it. More so for handhelds, especially more so back then, seeing things like N64, where essentially the box and manual, good luck, someone brings that in, usually it's going to be cart only. I've seen the same thing certainly for handheld systems, so that becomes a lot more apparent. I mentioned that during my initial video, is that picking up cases at a good deal, especially for systems that are handhelds. I think of the Switch more of a handheld just because it looks like, based upon statistics, more people are playing it as a handheld than actually a home console hooked up to a television set. So I pick up cases when I see them for a good deal. I recommend doing the same. So that way, in the event you get a good deal on just a cartridge only, you've got the case waiting for it. So, a few games I ordered. Wild Arms for original PlayStation 1. Dragon Warrior 7 for PlayStation 1. Let's see, additionally I ordered Star Wars Jedi Power Battles for the Dreamcast, actually 2 copies. And Monkey Magic for PlayStation 1. So for all the disc-based games I ordered, none of them had any manuals or any cases whatsoever. Now, the ratio tends to be better for systems that are more current. For instance, if you look on Reddit, under video game collecting, you'll see individuals who may have ordered a bunch of games. For instance, last week they had a promotion, buy a system and get 50% off on games that are listed $9.99 or less. Well, some people really went all out for that, and then when I tried to do the same promotion, it limited to 3 items. However, it said nowhere on the website that was limited to just 3 items. So, all the games I got that were disc only were only disc only. Even though you might see a case on the website, they don't guarantee that. So, looking at those games, I thought to myself, what do they go for on eBay as far as mint condition copies? So, for Monkey Magic, I returned that one just because I can reorder that one. It's a cheap game, but finding it mint is a little harder because it's not a very common game. It's a Sunsoft game for PlayStation 1. It's based upon a TV show from back in the days. Dragon Warrior 7 tends to go for, looks like, about $30, give or take, $35. And, you know, the value on GameStop was $30 for the game, so I thought to myself, you know, I could probably use my store credit for something else that maybe sells for a lot more online. I'll give an example of that. And then for Wild Arms, it was $20 on the website. Looking for a mint condition copy, it runs for about $25. Trying to find some of these RPGs, certainly PlayStation 1 games even, that are just the manuals, the case art, can be rather problematic. And it's not like looking for PS2 cases where that can still be challenging, but going back an additional generation makes it even harder. And I thought to myself, you know what, I'd rather pay $5 more, $7 more to make sure I get a mint copy that's complete, instead of getting it cheaper than having to figure out how to hunt down the case art and then pay for shipping on top of that. I just saved the problem. So, games I picked up. So, right, I spent probably about $60, give or take, as far as on games for trading credit. I came out to almost $400 of GameStop trading credit. I still have about close to $100 remaining. So some of the goodies I picked up. Contra 3 for the Super Nintendo. So I love playing the original Contra games on the OG NES. I don't have the Sega Genesis version, however, Contra 3 for the Super Nintendo I thought would be a great pickup, and I went ahead and made the purchase. Lufia and the Fortress of Doom, another classic on the Super Nintendo. The Lufia series was a great RPG series, well known during the 16-bit era, with multiple handheld releases. It didn't get the same fanfare as perhaps some other RPGs at the time. Certainly Final Fantasy has become, you know, a hallmark along with Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest. However, Lufia has trudged along somewhat due to financial issues with developers and so forth. There have been several Lufia games that have been discontinued. However, I thought I'd give it a try. So I picked up Lufia for Super Nintendo. And on top of that, I was able to find the DS version, of course. Cart only. Not very surprising. You go to a GameStop, you look for the DS sections, probably a good 80-90% of the games they have or more are cartridge only. So it was a good price. I figured why not? Maybe I'll get lucky because you can find DS cartridges in large lots on eBay from time to time. And certainly I had some luck finding game cases when I was at a game convention, at the Mo Game Con. Let's see. One game, World of Illusion, starring Disney's Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck for the Sega Genesis. This is one where actually I had gotten the cases, the case art, the manuals, the case, and I had it put away in a box. I'd moved several times, probably 10 times over the last 15 years or so. And I was thinking through my stuff, I noticed I had this. And this was a game I didn't actually own. I'm not sure how I got the cases. It's been so long. However, I thought to myself, you know what? I've had the case and manual the whole time. Let's put the game in it and have it complete so it can go on the bookshelf. And Genesis games during the Mickey Mouse Disney franchises were great on the Sega Genesis, so I really look forward to playing this game. So we talked a little bit about how anemic my N64 collection was. I do have like the Zeldas, the Castlevanias. I've got Ogre Battle and a couple others, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark. But there were a few other ones that I was really missing, and they're more so platformers, Nintendo type. These were ones I was missing. I wasn't as big into platformers back then. I was, a teenager caring about first-person shooters and so forth. So I picked up Yoshi's Story, really nice condition label. I got Diddy Kong Racing. And then I also got Kirby 64, The Crystal Shard. So a few basic ones. I'll probably pick up things like Star Fox, F-Zero, or other ones. I'll probably pick up with some of that store credit I talked about. Let's see. So one mishap. I ordered a copy of Star Wars Jedi Power Battles for the Dreamcast. And I ended up getting the game, well actually I thought it was. It said it on the top right hand corner of the label on the disc only. And looking at the disc, it was the PlayStation 1 version. So I called GameStop, let them know about the situation. And just so that way they can hopefully use this opportunity as a means to train individuals. So that way shoppers like you and I can hopefully get the games we order and not the wrong game. So that was what I ordered. I actually ordered two of them with the hopes that it was such a great deal that maybe I will get lucky. Maybe one will come with the case and manual, and the other one I can just sell, trade. They both were disc only. So I kept one of the disc only ones just because it's a game I don't have and go along with my Star Wars Demolition, which is missing its case and manual. Maybe I'll get lucky down the road and find the case and manual for that one. But the other one I took back, no hassles whatsoever from GameStop. So while I was there returning the games I had mentioned, I picked up some other ones. So this is Freedom Wings for the Nintendo DS. It's a Natsumi game. I have no idea what it is, but Natsumi of Harvest Moon fame, they make good quality games. So I figured I'd give it a try, take a look and see what it is. And for $2.99 plus discount, I figured why not. And I found a not very nice copy, but still a copy of Gormity, The Lords of Nature. It's a Konami game. I have no idea what it's about, but it actually has the case, the manual, and I figured it'll take some time to get the labels off. Hopefully a blow dryer will help loosen up the adhesive so I can yank it off and add it to the collection. So one game I definitely pulled the trigger on was Wild Arms 4. It's an Exceed published game on the PlayStation 2. So this game, Wild Arms 4, is only on the PlayStation 2. There isn't another port of it somewhere else. It hasn't been put on PC so you can get on your Steam account. It's just stuck on here. I think it was about $20 to $25 plus whatever discounts. Looking at it for a complete copy, it goes for about $40 plus or so on eBay. And I thought to myself, if it's $20 plus discounts, maybe sometime down the road I'll be able to find a case and manual. But I figured I've got Wild Arms 2, I've got Wild Arms 3, I picked up this one. I know I returned Wild Arms 1, but the difference in price was one to where I had no problem saying I'll pick it up later and be able to play through the series. So it's one that's been on the back burner. I don't like to play games out of sequence, so I'll get Wild Arms 1 and work my way through. Of note, Wild Arms XF is extremely expensive. It's on the PlayStation 2. It's another rare game. It looks like it goes for about $80 or so and higher on eBay for a mint copy. However, if you're looking to play the game and you have something like a PlayStation Portable, PlayStation Vita, PlayStation TV, you can play the game. Now, how closely it is as far as the PS2 counterpart, I don't know, just because the capacity for a PSP cart or disc is a lot smaller than that of a DVD that would have been stable during the PS2 era. So, but it's a lot cheaper. I think it's like $9.99 for the PSP version. So something to consider. All right, for the Dreamcast, Capcom released Spawn in the Demon's Hand. I remember reading official Dreamcast magazine. It got terrible reviews, but this game, it's only on the Dreamcast. You can't find this game unless you happen to have a Naomi arcade cabinet and you want to fire it up and you happen to have the cartridge or GD-ROM, whatever it was back then for the arcade. But it has been ported to other things, like for instance Power Stone. You can play Power Stone on the PSP or the Vita because it came out. It got brought over to the PSP. I'm not 100% sure if it's still available on the digital marketplace. I believe it still is. However, Capcom did have it at one point, so for those who want to play on the Vita, and certainly the PlayStation or Vita TV based upon your region, you can play Power Stone 1 and 2. However, Spawn Demon's Hand, this is the only place to get it, and it was a good price. Hopefully, sometime down the road, you'll find a case and manual for it. Certainly, Jedi Power Battles, talked about it. Great price, got it. One of the crown jewels, I have a fair Sega Saturn collection, not as great as it used to be. I used to have Panzer Dragoon Saga, actually 2 copies of it, and a sealed copy of Burning Rangers. However, back in the days, I sold them both to buy my wife's wedding ring. And so, but one RPG that always intrigued me, it had a very old school 16-bit Zelda-esque look to it, was Legend of Oasis, which is a sequel to, I believe, Beyond Oasis, which came on the Sega Genesis. And this was, I think, $45, $50. Finding a used copy was about as much, so up to like $70 plus. And I believe I have some of the case art for it. Long story that I might go into down the road. However, based upon having this available on the Gamestop website was a surprise, because oftentimes you look under the Sega Saturn section, you can't find it since they've changed the website over. GameStop website, it's terrible with the changes. They're supposedly supposed to be more user-friendly. It really isn't. I hate it so much. However, this was one of the higher price games that are actually available in stock. So with the discounts, came out to a good deal. And when you think about how much I spend for games and trade credit I got out of it, it saved me a lot of money finding this one. And since I happen to be in the store and having trade credit, I decided to get some more current gen games. So for the Vita, I got Deathmark Limited Edition. So if you actually happen to have a GameStop near you, or want to look on the website, this game may be available. So it came out to be about $60 when it first came out. This is the limited edition, which has art book, I believe a soundtrack as well, some stickers. So it's been marked down at $29.97. So for just a regular copy, regular edition, it's like $20. So for $10 more, it comes into this nice case. It feels like a very sturdy box. A nice slip cover, really neat art. So if you've not heard, it's part of the, I believe, NG series, or the sequel to it's called NG. It's coming out, it might be digitally for the Vita, coming out I think this fall. However, it's coming out to the Switch. So Deathmark is available on the Switch. However, I really want to get it for the Vita. I really enjoy the Vita. I think it's a great system. It's really too bad how Sony decided to mess things up. They got in their own way. But it was such a great deal, I couldn't pass it up. The GameStop I went to was the only one within like a 100-mile radius that had the game. And I thought to myself, who knows if the next time I come in, hoping it gets even cheaper, it might be sold. So I used to have store credit and got that. And then for the Switch, I picked up Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna, The Golden Country. This is a brand new version. So the difference between a new version and the used one is only about $2. So if you've got your PowerUp Rewards discount, maybe even more. However, there are download codes for packs 1 through 4, which works on Xenoblade Chronicles 2. The original Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which came out on the Switch. So it had like blue artwork. This is a prequel. There's a cartridge inside. Nintendo really botched things up with regards to promoting this. A lot of people were concerned that there might be just a voucher inside and just an empty case. And people didn't realize that the DLC that comes inside is not for this. It is for the original game. So there's a prequel cartridge that you can play. The codes are for the game. So as far as the value of the codes towards the original game, I'm not sure how great it is. Certainly the expansion pass is $30. And so buying it new, spending a few dollars more made the difference for me. Then last but not least, Metal Wolf Chaos XD. So if you're not familiar with this, the Metal Wolf series is by From Software of Armored Core, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Sekiro fame. They have not had an Armored Core series in a while. However, Metal Wolf is a game that came out on the original Xbox only in Japan. Microsoft has had an abysmal time trying to get the system sales up in Japan. If anything, it peaked with Xbox 360 and then plummeted yet again with the Xbox One. For a long story short, collectors for the original Xbox found that this game was a great game on the original Xbox, and it's a pretty penny. You know, finding a copy will run you over $100 used if you're looking online, and a brand new copy could be about $300 plus. So I got ported with updated graphics to the PlayStation 4, and it appears to be a more limited physical release. So it just came out this past week, $30. Check out your local Gamestop. Now, I believe Special Reserve Games is having an alternate cover art version, which if you go to the website, you can actually pre-order it. It's also $29.99. It's supposed to be limited to only 3,000 copies. So if you're interested into variants collecting, certainly that would be another one. It definitely does have different cover art. I do like this cover art more than the one that's on their website. I might consider getting it off their website. We'll see. So that is what I have for now as far as my Epic GameStop pickups from my trade-in. So I recommend try mark your calendar. It might be next August, might be next July. Hopefully GameStop is still around. It remains to be seen. This next generation is looking like more concerns for increase in digital sales, less physical sales, and GameStop thrives on physical sales. Believe me, I know a lot of people have hate for GameStop, dislike, scorn, pick your adjective. However, GameStop is not the big bad enemy. Certainly as far as my concern is with digital only sales. If they decide to remove something off the storefront and you didn't buy it at that right time, you might be stuck and not being able to play the game ever again. So, there's different avenues, more gray market concerns, repros, hacking systems where there is some benefit to it with regards to archiving things that might be lost forever. Try to get yourself the PT demo for the PlayStation 4 if you wanted to play and see what Hideo Kojima's vision was for Silent Hill. Unless you happen to have downloaded it or able to get a PS4 that has it, then you're kind of at the mercy of not being able to play that game or that game demo. So there are individuals who have happened to pull it off and so forth. So that's up to you whether or not you want to potentially ruin your system, your warranty, your system accounts, and so forth. But definitely, I'm all about a physical future, and we'll be sad for the day when things go all digital. It'll probably make me go back and play physical games I haven't played yet. So if you liked what you saw, go ahead and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications for future videos. I usually put a video or two out every week, and certainly based upon things such as retro gaming, game news, shopping, and the like. It's been a pleasure with making this video. This is Kermit the Gaming Hermit, and I'll see you later. Take care.